Does your car stereo get you where you want to go? Why not upgrade it? Get easy navigation with Apple CarPlay on the new Pioneer Next. Don't break up with your car, upgrade it.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the current episode and podcast, The Aftermarket Insider. I'm your host, Joe Sebergandio. Today's day is October the 8th. This is season 1. This is our 12th episode, which is kind of cool because we were shooting for 24 this year. Hopefully, we would have had 24 in the can before the big SEMA show. This year, things have changed, and we've got two dynamic guests that are going to be joining us on the podcast tonight. Vice President of Marketing and overall good guy, Ira Gabriel, as well as Program Director for the SEMA Battle of the Builders and the SEMA Young Gun Program, Mike Robledo, also a good friend. I've hung out with these guys on the SEMA Young Guns largely program for the last few years. And I've got on my staff shirt because I'm proud of it. See, looking good. So what we've done is we've worked to go out and meet with and join in with young automotive enthusiasts, 27 and younger, who are into building hot rods, building cars, building trucks, keeping our awesome aftermarket industry going. And it's been a great program, and I've really enjoyed our time there. So we're going to catch up on the Young Guns program. We're also going to catch up with the changes that everybody's aware of now. You know, the SEMA show physically, as we've known it forever, held in Las Vegas, an annual convention where we meet face-to-face. Now there's a change, and it's the SEMA 360 program. It's virtual. It's all online. It has all the elements of the SEMA show, including exhibitors and buyers and feature vehicles and competitions like the Battle of the Builders. So I'm looking forward to jumping in to give you guys a chance to hear directly from the horses' mouths about why the SEMA 360 program, and there's still time to be a part of it, is going to be something that you're going to want to participate in, particularly if you're a manufacturer and you want to exhibit. Obviously, if you're a buyer and you want to do business. And obviously, we want to have a nice place for builders to continue to have a place to showcase their vehicles and their builds. So we're going to give you the latest, greatest, and there's still time to get involved. There's some pressing deadlines that are upcoming, and we'll make you aware of those as well. I'd like to begin by thanking our sponsor, Pioneer. You know, Pioneer is the global leader in car electronics and proud supporters of automotive enthusiast events everywhere, and even trade shows like the SEMA show and smaller shows like my event, Joe's Mini Bike Reunion. You know, no matter what type of vehicle you drive, Pioneer's got the gear to upgrade your car and make your sound better. They help you connect with the latest technology like Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and new for 2020, Amazon Alexa. Remember, don't break up with your car, upgrade it. Learn more from our friends at pioneerelectronics.com. So, you know, one of the reasons why people build cars is to show them off. You know, let's face it, you build a car, you take all that time, effort, energy, blood, sweat, and tears, and you ultimately come up with something that you're pretty proud of. And one of the biggest compliments a car builder can receive is to be invited to be a part of the SEMA show, particularly as a competitor for events that are so esteemed like the Battle of the Builders program. But having your vehicle on display as a featured vehicle at the SEMA show is about as good as it gets. Typically, the way that it worked is that a builder would enter his feature vehicle through a participating manufacturer that was an exhibitor at the SEMA show. You had to be an exhibitor at the show, not just to be a manufacturer. You had to be there. And that's how it worked. A builder like Troy Trepagna would hook up with a company like Dynamat, and Dynamat would submit the feature vehicle application and pay the fee. And then Troy would have his vehicle on display, and it would typically go in that manufacturer's booth or a nice location inside or outside of the show. And that's how it worked. Well, this year, the SEMA show is virtual. And we are really, really focusing on all of the elements that make that show important. But I've had a chance to work with the group that is focusing in specifically on feature vehicles and Battle of the Builders. Great opportunity this year, highlighted by two new benefits. The first one being that this process where you had to take your vehicle to the show through a manufacturer has been enhanced so that's not a requirement now. A builder can literally register his feature vehicle on his own. This year, to make things even more inviting, SEMA eliminated the associated fee, which is a little bit under a couple $100. It was $199. So those two dynamics, the ease that the builder now has to enter, and then the support of not having to pay a fee, have really, really sparked a lot of interest, particularly of late. So I have been reaching out, as well as all the staff at SEMA, Ira, Maurice, some friends over at BCII, who are part of the production of Battle of the Builders, Mike Robledo, Ira Gabriel, his team. We've been reaching out to participants who have been a part of this feature vehicle and Battle of the Builder program for the last couple of weeks, and we've been making some really good progress. Well, the deal is that there's a clock and it's ticking, and there's a deadline and it's approaching. So what we'd like to do now is bring in one of the gentlemen that I'm really happy to call as a good friend. We've worked together for decades. He's got a great gig at SEMA within the marketing department, and he's really taken on the primary responsibilities of coordinating the feature vehicle program and Battle of the Builders. He's the vice president of marketing at the SEMA show. Welcome to the podcast, Ira Gabriel. Hi, Ira. How are you?
Good, Joe. How are you?
Well, I'm getting excited. I'm about a week away from jumping in the car with Boom Boom and heading off to Scottsdale for the Off-Road Expo featuring the Sand Sport Super Show. So I'm going to be out there, really, Ira, working at an event with spectators and manufacturers for the first time this year. We have been challenged. One of my other clients, Bonnier, as you know, they're in the event business, and we had a menu of over a dozen events, and we've only been able to realize two, now going on our third. So I'll be out there. I'm looking forward to it. And it's going to give me some good training because I hope to be out there with you in Diamond Bar in November, along with Mike, for the Battle of the Builder competition. So in the midst of making phone calls and, working on that event, it's been busy, and I'm happy because I was getting bored out of my mind.
So it's been a challenging year, to say the least. It's been challenging, and we've talked a lot about what people are doing and the builds that they're working on, and their excitement about getting out and showcasing their vehicles and everything like that. So good. I'm glad you're going to be out there, and we're going to look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks and for the Battle of the Builders.
Ira, so give us the latest. I'd let everybody know as much as I had to say with regard to some of the changes and some of the advantages of being involved in the program now. With all that said, what can you share with us in terms of the latest with SEMA 360, as well as what you've been seeing of late with regard to the uptick and registration for the feature vehicle and Battle of the Builder programs?
Well, nothing replaces, the notion of an in-live event in the show. And certainly, the announcement that was made about a month ago was one that, it was taken with great, we took a lot of, perspective and looked at it. SEMA 360 was really designed to create that opportunity for buyers and sellers to connect. So really it's based on just four real simple principles: showcasing new products, showcasing the incredible builds that folks are working on and builders are working on, providing education opportunities for a lot of our members and buyers and folks that are out there. And then, that the platform itself really is the connection between the manufacturers and the buyers. And really what we're looking at is an opportunity for people to come in there and conduct their business and find new products and look at opportunities to help their business get through really this year, but also look to build upon next year. So when we talk about products, we talk about what everybody's been working on, innovating, what's going to be out in the pipeline, what ultimately consumers will see. and what a lot of these buyers will be looking for, and that's going to be in this 360 showcase.
Ira, I've been on the website. In fact, if you'd like, you can share that link and that information with those folks that are listening. There's a list of manufacturers that have committed to being a part of the SEMA 360. It was a pretty substantial list. You've got some pretty heavy hitters there, don't you?
Yeah, we do. The link is SEMA360.com, and on there it's set up very easy. It's an easy navigation to, if you're a manufacturer, where you go, if you're a buyer, where you go, and of course, members of the media. And the list is being updated every day. And you'll see, Joe, well over 500 exhibiting companies that are there. And we're really excited about the adoption of the platform and how well it was received and where we're going. Now, you mentioned a couple of deadlines, and we've got some deadlines that are posted up there. This is going to be November 2nd through the 6th, and it's going to be for qualified members of the industry, qualified buyers and sellers. So the public, unfortunately, can't get into this platform, but they can follow along with social media, the hashtag SEMA360. But really, we've created this portal, this environment, so that buyers and sellers can have this platform where the buyers can find new products out there. The exhibiting companies can find buyers to represent and to buy their products. And then the members of the media will be able to go through and see the new products, to see the future vehicles, to get a taste of what is available out there product-wise, and then to participate, for those that are on the platform, in the educational opportunities.
Well, that's great news. It sounds like you've got a stout list of supporting manufacturers. As I said, I went through it before, as you know, working with the feature vehicle program. There's a lot of familiar names there. And as a result, that's that one part of the pie, Ira, having the exhibitors. How's the other side, the other part of the pie, the buyers? What's that look like now? Have you gotten a lot of support from the buyers? Have you been able to track any trends that are happening there in terms of registration? And what do the numbers look like in terms of buyers that are going to participate in SEMA 360?
So we're seeing a lot of international buyers coming in, because here's the first opportunity for international buyers that are hungry and buying product to take a look inside the market. And with a lot of the travel restrictions that have been placed all summer long, it's prevented a lot of the buyers from going out and conducting business. So we're seeing a really strong increase in uptick in international buyers. As we get closer to the event, things begin to ramp up even more. So we're excited about the early numbers we have. We're excited about the new products, well over 600 new products, well over 500 manufacturers. As you and Mike know, we've got close to 150 feature vehicles, and that number continues to grow as we get closer to our deadline. So we're really excited about it, and it's going to give people an opportunity, certainly those in the industry, an opportunity to look. This has been a tough year for everybody. As we look forward to 2021, getting the businesses, where they need to be, these are going to be showcases of new products. These are going to be showcases of innovative builds. These are going to be showcases of where buyers are going to be able to look and find and seek, and the media is going to be able to report. So we're very, very happy and very pleased about that.
Well, we thank you too, Ira, on behalf of all the folks that their well-being, their lifestyle, their job, their income is all based on largely the SEMA show. And having this virtual SEMA 360, I think, is just a great way for SEMA, our member organization, to continue to keep things on a positive trend. Proud to be a part of it. Looking forward to these upcoming weeks as we get closer to that first week of November. Ira, we talked about the manufacturers that are signed up. We talked about the interest in the buyers, particularly those from the international side of things. The cars were really the stars for those of us who really love going to that show as well. And not having that focus for the SEMA 360 would be remiss. You point out the fact that we've got 150 vehicles already a part of it. I'm hoping that gets to a couple hundred. I wouldn't doubt that for a second. What can you share with regard to the feature vehicles in terms of how they work into SEMA 360, their importance, and specifically what they've got in terms of the deadlines? Because it's not as simple as just showing up now, right? They've got to register, they've got to upload photos, a bio, and a video.
Right. So every builder that wants to display on the 360 platform, they've got to go through a process. It includes applying for it. It includes uploading photos, the short video, as well as bio information. And really, the platform itself, when you think about experience on an online platform, you go there and you conduct business and you find things, you entertain and connect with business executives, but you want to see what people are doing. You want to see the product, and the Feature Vehicle Showcase and the Builder Showcase Gallery is going to give the participants of SEMA 360 an opportunity to see the innovative builds and to see the craftsmanship and to see some familiar names that are working on their vehicles and what they have done with their vehicles. And Joe, you and Mike and I had spent the summer on a number of virtual car shows and certainly the Young Guns regional program. And I think what we saw, and it's fair to say, that people are still doing the work on the vehicles. They're still building the vehicles in their garage, and they're still innovating. And what they can't immediately do of taking those out early in the summer, they're doing by creating more builds and showcasing their builds. And social media has been really big, and they're showcasing and sharing what they want to do. So we find this is an opportunity to really showcase a lot of the vehicles and make sure that we have a lot of eye candy for the platform. Everybody say hello to my wife, Debbie.
Was she doing the laundry?
So we have this, and so we have this opportunity to showcase the vehicles and the builders, and to really give those that participate in SEMA 360 the opportunity to just look at the innovation and what everybody has been doing. And it's been really a great journey.
Ira, Debbie just took your wallet down the steps there. Yeah. That's a great journey for her. Look, again, the spirit of it, IG, the fact that we have a place where folks can do business, showcase their vehicles, builders can meet up with buyers, exhibitors can meet up with buyers, having that media involvement, we've kept it going. And that's, I think, the most important takeaway here. Why don't you explain, if you could, Ira, because I want to bring in Mike Robledo. For those of you that are listening, we're here with the Vice President of Marketing for SEMA, Ira Gabriel, as well as the Program Director for the Battle of the Builders and the SEMA Young Guns, Mike Robledo. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in here. A couple of shout outs to Mike Rysecki. Mike's been joining us since the inception of the program. Adelaide Gay, how are you? Looks like Jim Savis is listening. Mike Forrest, Glenn Bookbinder, my buddy Neil Copeman from across the pond, Dan Baumgart. How are you, Dan? Hope you're doing well. If you know somebody who may be interested in some of the behind the scenes information and folks that are making the scene happen, have them tune in to the Aftermarket Insider here on Facebook. We also repost the episodes wherever you get your podcast fixed. I want to thank our sponsors over at Pioneer Car Electronics. Also want to give a shout out to my man, John Toll. John Toll, a legend in our industry, a SEMA Hall of Famer, the man who made the PWA organization tick forever. Kevin Ostie, I look forward to seeing you, Kevin, at the upcoming Off-Road Expo in Scottsdale, October 17th and 18th. Come by and say hi. Bob Sheed from McLeod, Trader Tim. Tim Subsamian, as some of you may know, has his own Trader Tim truck event taking place in March of 2021 at the Santa Anita Raceway Park. You can find out more about that, I'm sure, these upcoming months. Look forward to Tim having a successful event. I believe Jim Marino is going to be helping him there. So if you guys are interested in maybe having a display or having some kind of interaction with Tim's event, you can reach out to Jim Marino, who knows everybody in this industry. Shout out to my man, Joe Parks, the owner of Pilot Transport. In fact, Pilot is the transporter of choice for the SEMA Young Gun, as well as the upcoming SEMA Battle of the Builders. Boom, thanks for handling everything, getting me set up for the podcast. Ed Tilrock, Matt Hay, Ted Cardenas, Paul Cunliffe, Chris Crean, Gail Kipper, thanks for listening. All right, so before we bring in Mike Robledo, Ira, the way that the program works now is, before at SEMA, you would have your vehicle in a display area, inside or outside. The judges would go walk around, they would check them out. Now it's a little bit different. Now you upload the photos, you upload a bio, you upload a video, up to a couple minutes. And those are those elements, the photos, the video, and the bio, are typically what is going to be used to judge the overall submissions and then we'll have a top 12. And those top 12 folks will then be brought out, obviously, as well as their vehicles, to be a part of a real live finale competition judging that will be featured on the History Channel. Can you take us through that?
Yep. So the format remains virtually the same as the previous years, where we narrowed the field down to a top 40. We have outside judges participating with us this year: RJ DeVera, Cam Miller, Jeremiah Prophet, and the Ring brothers, who will then take the top 40 down to the top 12. And once the top 12 have been identified, the top 12 will be invited out, and their vehicles will be transported to a sound stage here in Los Angeles, Southern California, where we'll have an opportunity to tape and record for the History Channel. And it is in that process, which is very consistent with the previous years, where the top 12 themselves become the judges. They judge each other's vehicle, and they can cast a vote, but not for themselves. So it really is the ultimate in outside professional journalists and builders narrowing the field, and then the judges themselves, almost very akin to a peer vote, have the opportunity to take us down to the winner. And then the winner will be announced, and it will follow a very similar format, where the Friday, November 6th, which follows, really the wrap up of the week, where the winner will be announced. And all of that will then air up on the History Channel, and a lot of that information will also go out on social.
And you've made it simple, Ira. It's the acronym for Battle of the Builders. It's www.semabotb. It's a one-click process to enter. The deadlines are upcoming. You've got, in knowing the way that SEMA works, the deadlines are there, and we're going to do our best to make sure that everybody tries to get in. But is there a little wiggle room, Ira? I know we've got some deadlines of the 9th and the 16th. For those folks just maybe finding out about it, what's the real scenario with those deadlines? I mean, I know we want to get everybody in. Do you have a little leeway at all?
Well, the 9th. So really tomorrow is the deadline for feature vehicle and Battle of the Builders. It had been extended a week since early in the summer, just to help. But as we get all the information, we want to bring everything in. We want to make sure everything is set. We want to make sure that we provide it to the judges with a reasonable amount of time so they can begin their work. And while they're doing that, that information will also go up online for feature vehicle on the platform. So it's an exciting process. And for our journey this past summer with Mike and you and I, participating with the Young Guns program and being around the country virtually, and just seeing what everybody has been doing. And then over the last 2 weeks, talking and experiencing kind of what the builders who traditionally have been in the SEMA show and have been feature or booth vehicles and have been part of the Battle of the Builders program, just having dialogue with them has brought us back to, where our comfort zone is, right? Our comfort zone is being around all of this. And in lieu of not being able to do it in person, and as you can see, I'm working from home today, it is the opportunity to just kind of connect with everybody.
What I really like, Ira, the most is that handing off of the baton. You mentioned Jeremiah Prophet, you mentioned the Ring brothers. These are folks that have been competitors and winners in the Battle of the Builders, and for them to be there, and the Young Guns having that accessibility to kind of mingle in the same sandbox, that's what I see that I enjoy the most. This would be a good time for us to enhance the podcast by bringing in the guy who's been intimately a part of particularly the SEMA Young Guns. He's been a mentor as I've watched him over the years on site with a lot of these young builders that apply for the SEMA Young Guns program. He has been pretty well versed and has had his tentacles in a variety of things that have to do with SEMA. Him and I worked together with the SEMA feature vehicle check-in program leading up to the show. And he's usually running around either handling Battle of the Builder program or Young Gun related issues on site at the show. He also is probably one of the premier realtors in the Los Angeles area, and he specializes in bungalows, which we have some, we're fortunate enough to have an abundance of those in Pasadena. Unfortunately, it's tough to find one that's for sale. But if you do want to buy a house, or if you want to find out about the SEMA Young Guns, let's take some time and welcome my good friend Mike Robledo to the podcast. What's happening, Mike?
That's a great intro, Joe. I appreciate the plug for sure. Yeah, it's been interesting to watch Battle of the Builders evolve over the years that we've had it. We started out with three main divisions, truck, hot rod, import. And when we added the young guns, it was just kind of a designation. Hey, you're a builder of this age or younger. Here's an extra little trophy. When it broke out and became its own division is when things really got interesting. So the challenge with young builders is it's impossible for them to get a car in the show. They don't know Stan Chan at Toyo. They don't know the guys at Edelbrock. So it's almost impossible for a young builder that's trying to make a name for himself to get his car into the SEMA show. So we came up with a way to kind of give them an opportunity, a golden ticket opportunity to get their car to the show. This year we had to switch it up a little bit. Instead of going out to events and partnering with events like Bonnier and Formula Drift, we took everything virtual. So it's kind of a little primer for us before we go into SEMA 360, which has been interesting.
Yeah, the young gun seems to be, I've watched you in action since the early Nopi days and the Red Bull days, and I've watched you work, working with side by side with me at the agency, and I see you now working with the young guns. You really seem to have found a place there. What is it that's attracted you so strongly to working with these young builders?
They're the future of the industry for sure. We'll always see amazing cars come out of the legendary builders, the Kyle Tuckers, the Eddie Pettises of the world. But finding that kid that's in, back roads, Iowa, wrenching away in his garage, that kid is going to have a long career in building cars and also buying parts and supporting the members of SEMA. So it's really, really a key way to kind of cultivate the next generation. It's been pretty successful so far.
I've also watched you, Mike, really take these younger guys under your arms where you're not just walking them through the registration and participation program for the SEMA Young Guns, but you're kind of mentoring them on business acumen and taking advantage of meeting folks and introductions and how to navigate their way up this kind of slippery slope of future employment. Again, what is it about the opportunity that you have with these young guys that has you so immersed in it?
There's an opportunity abound. A young person wants to build a career, and if you can build a career around a passion, whether it's historic houses or vintage cars, it's a better life. And you see this spark in their eyes. But then conversations with the pro builders that we use as our judges for the Young Guns Regional Program, they're looking for these kids also. They need another body guy in the shop. They need a fabricator in the shop. So they're looking for young people to kind of launch their careers, and young people are looking for ways to launch their careers. So it's kind of this ultimate matchmaking service that's happening, which has been really, really, really cool. And you see it in action. You see a guy like Kyle Kuhnhausen that shows up to a regional event a couple of years back, and now he's getting contracted to build hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cars for customers. And he has his own shop now. So you really see the evolution right in front of your eyes. And look, who wouldn't want to be a part of that? It's amazing to kind of launch people's careers like that.
Yeah, there's, it's pulling somebody through is kind of like the mission that we all have. So I'm sure that's satisfying for you as well. Before we switch over to the importance of the judges and talking a little bit about them, has there been any SEMA Young Gun entrant this past year or over the last couple of years that you've really caught your attention or you've taken a special fondness to?
Kyle Kuhnhausen, for sure. He's definitely kind of the poster child, I think, of the program, because he really showed up with an amazing car they spent many years building, and now he's cranking out amazing cars every year. This year, when we did regionals and we did it virtually, there's some guys that bubbled up that really, really impressed me. Cody Medicis with this really crazy Camaro, kind of a quarter-mile Camaro. Eli DeWitt, he took a Le Mans and corrected body flaws that came out of the factory. You really see the passion with some of these guys. Just amazing what they do. Matteo Medoro with this kind of rat rod look and just welding and cutting, just really, really intricate fabrication work. It's impressive to see.
Yeah, that's for sure. And that's been the part of the virtual Young Gun program that you really see some notable uh, skills happening. It's amazing what these younger folks are really capable of doing. And it's kind of odd because the expectations we have is that these young builders that are not even 27 in some cases, having that capability to actually do body work and be able to rebuild engines and to devise suspension systems, that's a pretty formidable task and expectation of a young person. And I've been surprised pleasantly how many of these folks actually, although they may not have their hands on the entire build process, they're headed in that direction. The judges that we've been using this year have been great as well. Randy Weaver, Jeremiah Prophet, Eddie Pettis. Talk a little bit about the builders, Mikey, and what their role is, and talk a little bit about how they've really shined this year as well.
Having the pros, the pro builders involved, and these guys that all compete in the pro divisions, truck, hot rod, import of Battle of the Builders, having them assist us in recognizing the next generation is key. Like I mentioned before, they're looking for kids to hire to work in their shops, but also they're the experts. You know, you're not going to stump Ryan Korek about what paint gun you use. So if a kid said he painted his car, Korek asked him about what tip he used. So, you know, that's knowledge that only a pro builder would have. So having them as a part of it is really, really key in kind of bubbling up the right talent and who has the potential to go well in the competition and build cars in the future, for sure. And there's been some standout judges, like some really great surprises. Muzzy Yousefi was probably the biggest surprise this year. Muzzy was a top 12 finalist in the import division 2 years back, and we pulled him in to assist us with the Mideast corral, pretty much to be an import specialist because we had a bunch of imports in that corral. But he's rambling off hot rod stats and calling out hot rod stuff. He's like, blew us away. He ended up judging 5 of the events for us because he had this really wide range of knowledge for not just imports, but hot rods and trucks as well.
Yes, shout out to Buzzy, as well as all the judges who helped us this year with the virtual show, which was a little bit more of a challenge. Let's face it, not as appealing and as sexy. We don't get a chance to see the cars. You don't get a chance to smell them. There's all those dynamics that you really gotten so used to that we don't have with the online Zoom program. But nevertheless, it's got to a point where after we overcame and adjusted from being live to doing it through Zoom, there was, I think, a conversation that we may have had where maybe doing Zoom could just be the way to go going forward. What's your take on that as a possibility?
We're able to cover more ground for sure. Probably better for Ira's travel budget because we don't have to fly around and take judges out for dinners.
Well, plus his wife just left with his wallet, so he's broke.
He doesn't have the credit card. The Amex is gone. I think, yeah, there's some challenges with Zoom for sure. If a kid shot his car, you can't see how the cut and buff came out. It's almost impossible on Zoom. I think when the competition gets really, really stiff, it becomes really challenging in senses like that. But you definitely get a sense, an overall sense of what the kid is capable of and what he's done and what he's taken on. So some of the deliberation process that we have after the competitor leaves the Zoom has been interesting. And sometimes it goes on for quite a while. So think of that. You know, you got guys like Eddie Pettis and Kyle Tucker that are sitting on a 3-hour, 4-hour-long Zoom call to judge these kids' cars. What a great effort on their part to spend the time with us and to invest in the future of these kids. There's some challenges in Zoom, but we made it work for sure. And I know that the 12 that we have already, there's 2 more golden tickets up for grabs with the online fan vote. The 12 we have are some of the best young builders in the country, hands down.
Yeah, I want to kind of wrap things up with you, Mike, when we talk a little bit about that fan voting and how it works. But just to stay on that point for a second about the Zoom, yeah, there's that. There's also that challenge that you have depending on the location of the vehicle. You know, we had one gentleman who was trying to do his Zoom competition while he was out in a field at an automotive event. we have others that either based on their technical prowess or lack of, or the quality of their camera or who's helping them, you're not going to consistently get similar style photography or video coverage or connection. So that has been something that's been a little bit of a challenge too. And I guess one of the benefits that we don't enjoy when we're live, but yeah, we've gotten through it. And I think that everybody's gotten a fair go of it. And as we improve going forward, it'll be much easier. Hey, I want to thank some of the folks that have just joined us. Selena Masanya, our good friend Leslie Allen. Leslie's out there in the Southeast making things happen with all the automotive accounts. She's been a PR expert and a marketing gal in the industry for the longest time. Our good friend Chris Thompson. How are you, Chris? You're in Arizona. Maybe you can join us out there in Scottsdale for the Off-Road Expo 17th and 18th of October. We're here with Ira Gabriel, Vice President of Marketing at SEMA, and our program coordinator and director in all things SEMA Young Gun and Battle of the Builders. Mike, so we have gone around various parts of the U.S. For the SEMA Young Gun competition. We've found winners at each one of those competitions. And then there's also an opportunity for those folks that didn't win their specific division where they could still be eligible and get a golden ticket to be a part of the program. How does that work? If you could just review that so that folks have a little bit of an idea how that online fan voting works.
We started the year with a plan of 12 events all across the country and really kind of hitting every corner of the US. So we can get and kind of bubble up and discover and scout for these young builders. We took it all online. We actually did one live event in South Padre Island, Texas with Texas Heatwave. That was our first and only live event that we were able to do this year. So we handed out 12 golden tickets that way through the corral, but the second and third place runner-ups were really obviously very talented also. There's usually up to 10 cars in the corral. So second and third, they're no slouch either. These are guys that can cut and weld and fabricate and paint and stitch interiors. So to give them a shot, we have an online fan vote for anyone that ended up in second or third place in any of the regional corrals. And now it's their job to use their social media prowess to rally the Instagram votes, or, there's been competitors in years past, like Chelsea Lesnowski out of Canada, contracted the local TV station. They did a spot on her and her votes just skyrocketed. Smart. And they'll end up with thousands and thousands of votes. It goes on until the 25th. So it's really up to them to showcase, hey, I'm a builder, I'm serious. This is what I built. Check it out, vote for me. But also for them to kind of get a little bit of a hand in learning the marketing side of being in this industry. How can I rally people to support what I'm trying to accomplish? So it'll be interesting. We're watching the votes come in daily and kind of see the lead change and everything like that. So maybe there's a couple early favorites. So you can kind of see the front runners happening, but it's definitely going to be a kind of fun race to watch.
Well, as I look towards the future, I'm hoping for a scenario that looks a little bit like this. We find a young gun competitor for the first time. They stumble, they find their way, they go through SEMA Young Guns, they become successful, they get recognized, they go on, they have a nice industry career. While they're in that part of their career, they ultimately become recognized and become top-notch builders, and they open up their own shop and they mentor the next guy. For us, I think we'll all have that unique position to hopefully see somebody start from the very beginning, climb the ladder of success, and then hand that baton back off to a future young gun. Maybe, I don't know, maybe sometime 2030, 2035. Hopefully we'll all be around to celebrate that. But hey, look, Ira, thank you. As always, Mike, it's been a pleasure as well. If there's anything that I may have missed with regard to the SEMA 360, or if there's anything that maybe you still have some interest or have some questions as it relates to the SEMA Young Guns, check things out. You can check them out with regard to Battle of the Builders at SEMABOTB.com. And you can also check out and find out more about SEMA Young Guns at the SEMA Young Guns website as well. Ira, anything that you'd like to mention before we let you get on to, I'm sure, a busy afternoon? You've got to be obviously juggling a few things. Anything that we may have missed on our end?
No, thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. Always enjoy coming on to your show, enjoy watching your show, and appreciate what you're doing for the industry. And again, thank you for your help and support with the SEMA Young Guns program and Battle of the Builders and SEMA 360.
I look forward to talking to you and seeing you soon. Mikey, everything good on your end?
The 9th, this Friday, deadline to compete in Battle of the Builders. Make sure you get the application. Once that window closes, it's done. And up for grabs is a trip for the top 12 vehicles to come to Los Angeles to be part of the filming of the History Channel. And of course, the Battle of the Builders Championship, not only in the individual divisions, but the overall winner also. Definitely launches careers. Everyone should be aware of that deadline. You have until the 15th for pictures and videos. And that's it. More Young Guns next year. We'll do maybe less golden tickets, maybe more golden tickets. Who knows? We'll figure it out.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Ira. Once again, you've been listening to the Aftermarket Insider podcast. I'm your host, Joe Sebergandio. We hope you've gleaned a little bit of insight with regard to the upcoming SEMA 360, the Battle of the Builders, as well as the SEMA feature vehicle programs. The information's out there. What you don't have is a lot of time. So jump on it. October the 9th is your deadline to register. Let's see. We've got another podcast planned as we return back from the Off-Road Expo Scottsdale at Westworld this October 17th and 18th. We'll let Emmanuel juggle his calendar, and we'll update you on the dates of the next TAI podcast presented by Pioneer Car Electronics. Don't break up with your car. Upgrade it with Pioneer. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll see you the next time on the Aftermarket Insider Podcast.